Disneyland News Today is reporting a rumor that the People Mover is coming back to Disneyland. That's the headline, and we're going to talk about that next on Fresh Baked. Hi guys, David here with Fresh Baked, and yeah, you heard that correctly in the intro. There's no real smooth way to get into this. Disneyland News Today is reporting a rumor that Disneyland wants to bring back the People Mover, and that they want to bring it back as part of a larger remodel of Tomorrowland. But before we get into this, let's get into the details of what the actual rumor is, what Disneyland News Today is reporting, to give us a little bit of background. Per the rumor on Disneyland News Today, the reinstalled People Mover would be part of a larger Tomorrowland remodel that would include the previously rumored Buzz Lightyear reskin for Space Mountain. I know, we'll get into that. The rumor is that the People Mover would get a new ride system, but not a new track. They would still be using the old track. I know, how? Actually, not the entirety of the old track. The rumor is that the track would be shortened, with parts of the track that go over Autopia and Finding Nemo. Those would not be used. They also mentioned a new ride system. Not tires like they used to use back in the day, or magnets like they use today at Walt Disney World, but they didn't say what that widely available ride technology would be, just that it would be budget conscious. In addition to sections of the track not being used, other existing infrastructure would likely be altered or removed due to changes in building codes. And that all of this, the People Mover update, the new Tomorrowland or whatever, even the Buzz Lightyear thing, is all going to be announced at this year's D23. So let me begin by saying, first of all, that this is just a rumor. So please do take all of this discussion with the appropriate amount of skepticism. Take it with a grain of salt. So let's talk first about the People Mover coming back as part of a larger remodel for the entire land, for all of Tomorrowland. What is interesting is that they are reporting that update, the Tomorrowland update, as though it were fact. Per Disneyland News Today, as you know, Tomorrowland at Disneyland Park is set to undergo a massive transformation over the next few years. Is it? Because that's not news as far as we know. Rumors were discussed a couple months ago that this is going to be done at this year's D23, that there was going to be a Tomorrowland announcement at this year's D23. But it certainly isn't as final as they're making it sound to be in this rumor report. Not any more final than it sounded in the last D23 when everybody was sure that Disney was going to make an announcement about Tomorrowland, which they did not. And even though I really want this to happen, this People Mover rumor to be true, even though I want this to happen more than anything that I've ever wanted at Disneyland ever, it just seems a little bit suspect. If there really was a way to bring back the People Mover, why haven't they done it already? Why would they wait 20 years when they know how badly everybody wants it? It's one of the most universally desired, demanded, requested things for Disneyland. You talk about, ask anybody, what ride do you want to come back? Almost everybody says the People Mover. The People Mover was closed in 1995 and was replaced by the Rocket Rods in 1998. Why they did this has remained one of the greatest mysteries ever when it comes to Disneyland history. Why did they replace the People Mover with the Rocket Rods? The Rocket Rods closed just a few years later due to structural problems with the tracks. The conventional understanding is that the tracks were never designed to support vehicles that were as heavy as the Rocket Rods or moved as fast as they did. And this caused the track to break down. The structural integrity of the track was compromised and it remains that way today. It's the reason why they never put the People Mover back. It was permanently broken. And that's where I wonder about this report, because these things do not reconcile. Per the report, they would be using the same track. But if the track was the problem with the attraction in the first place, then what's changed since then? Now, I would assume that the issues with structural integrity they don't exist throughout the entirety of the track. There are probably just areas, sections that are isolated. And that could be, when they talk about in the report, in the rumor, that the areas, the sections over Autopia and Finding Nemo were not going to be used. Maybe that's where the structural integrity issues are, perhaps. So if that is true, if that's the reason why they're going to shorten the tracks, then they have to build new track to connect the other parts to make it whole again. And I will say, though, if they are going to shorten the track, that kind of bums me out a little bit, because that section over Autopia is really cool, and I enjoy that very much. I love being able to look up at Autopia and see those tracks go, or the People Mover go by. That would be really, really cool. But I suppose if you asked me to choose, you could keep either the section over Autopia or the sections that actually go through the existing attractions. You know, the parts that go into the buildings, like like Star Tours and Space Mountain. Those, if you maybe choose, you can get Autopia tracks or the parts that go through the existing attractions. I would take the existing attractions every single time. That is the coolest thing, to be able to ride the People Mover through those buildings. I find that very fascinating, very cool. But then that reminds me of another thing mentioned in this rumor, that portions were even removed from inside attraction show buildings as the years went by. Are they going to restore those portions? Can that even be done? Because if not, if you can't bring those parts back and you're also going to get rid of the parts that go over Autopia and Finding Nemo, what is left even? And that's where the rumor starts to crumble a little bit for me. And I would love it. Again, I would love this to be true, but I just cannot reconcile how it can be true. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I'm not as smart or as creative as your run-of-the-mill Imagineer. Definitely, I'm not trained. I don't have that kind of mind. So if anybody could find a way to do it, it would be a Disney Imagineer, no doubt about it. They're smarter and more creative than I am. However, if there was a way, if they did find a way, then what have they been waiting for? Which brings me back to another point made in the rumor, that the ride system would be less innovative than what was already being used. No wheels, no magnets, something inexpensive and low tech, budget conscious. Now, not that I'm against low tech and budget conscious. Some of my favorite attractions at Disneyland, my all-time favorite attractions at Disneyland, could be described just like that. Pirates of the Caribbean, Casey Jr., Mr. Toads. But if inexpensive and low tech is the solution, then again, what have you been doing for the last 20 years? What have you been waiting for? Why now? So, I don't know. This is a difficult one for me. I want it to be true. But let's actually get into this a little bit deeper, because it's more, according to Disneyland News Today, it's more than just the People Mover. They're talking about an entire remodel of Tomorrowland. They just put a bunch of money into Finding Nemo. Not only did they bring it back from life support, they fixed it. They even upgraded it. Finding Nemo is here to stay for a little while at least. And if Finding Nemo is here to stay, so too is Autopia. As has been mentioned a bunch of times in the past, you can't get rid of Autopia without also killing the subs. They are joined by the virtue of the fact that the Autopia literally rests on top of the Nemo show building, the dark ride portion of the show. Therefore, you can't build anything on Autopia ground without also destroying that show building. It's a package deal. But again, that's kind of another sigh really for me personally, because I don't want them to get rid of Nemo and the subs, and I don't want them to get rid of Autopia. And that means that whatever future Tomorrowland has, it's not going to be a major overhaul. And actually, those are words that were used in this rumor, that there's going to be a major overhaul of Tomorrowland. I don't get it. It doesn't scan for me, because you're keeping Nemo, you're keeping Autopia, you're keeping, well, apparently, according to this rumor, you're keeping Space Mountain the way it is too. They talked about the Buzz Lightyear skin. They brought that up in this rumor that they're going to cancel the Buzz Lightyear reskin of Space Mountain because the film's not doing well. Makes perfect sense. But if they're not doing that either, then that doesn't sound like a major overhaul to me at all. Now, what's interesting though, which I find kind of thought-provoking, is that one of the rumors that I heard, I wasn't able to vet this, so I never talked about it, but one of the rumors that I had heard was that the Buzz Lightyear thing was more than just Space Mountain, that it was going to be for the whole land, which kind of makes sense. It would be pretty easy to do, actually. Astro Orbiter would convert easily to a Buzz Lightyear themed attraction. Star Tours, you could easily build, new simulators for that. So I could see why they would be tempted to do that, and why it would be easy for them to do. But I don't think that the Buzz Lightyear IP is strong enough. We're not talking Toy Story, just Buzz Lightyear. I don't think that's strong enough to carry an entire land. I'm not even sure if Buzz Lightyear is strong enough to carry Space Mountain. And by the way, just, you know what? Can we just stop that? Because the idea of putting Buzz on Space Mountain is just so, I just cannot get behind that at all. And I know there's some people who kind of talked about that, like it would be okay. I just cannot. Space Mountain is a Rushmore attraction for me, and you just cannot put your hands on that. You just can't. It's Space Mountain. The only thing I could ever see them doing is, again, a total demo and rebuild of the entire land, and do something like they're doing overseas. But I cannot get my head around them trying to do anything major to Space Mountain. A reskin just does not go well. It does not taste good to me. As for the People Mover, file this one under I'll believe it when I see it. or at least if I hear it from Disney. We're going to find out soon enough. D23 is around the corner. We're all going to be waiting with bated breath at that announcement to see if they talk about it. I just cannot see that happening. I really cannot. I just don't know how they overcome the issues with the track. That is, unless those issues aren't as bad as they've been making it seem all these years. And if it's not, then let's go. Let's go. Don't waste any more time. Give us that people mover track. You know what I would accept a half a track if they could do it, if they could just restore the parts that go through the existing Tomorrowland buildings. I'm pretty sure it went through Buzz Lightyear, went through Star Tours, Space Mountain, and then I guess that's the loop. I guess that's the proper Tomorrowland loop, and it wouldn't go over Autopia or Finding Nemo. It would be great if it did, but I would take that. And then I would actually take that and do nothing else at Tomorrowland. I mentioned earlier, or in a recent trip report, that I'm kind of okay with the way Tomorrowland is. It's fine. It's fine. I enjoy a bunch of I like the monorail. I like Autopia. I like Space Mountain. You know, there's lots of things to like about Tomorrowland. And if they just brought back the People Mover, man, that sure would make a lot of people happy. That would make me happy. I bet that would make a lot of you happy. I really would. And that's something that Disney could use. And I have a feeling that that's probably the reason why this rumor is got the legs that it has, because it would make a lot of people happy if they could do that. I just don't know how. I want it to happen. I want it to be true. I just don't know how they can do it. If assuming that the issues with the track are as real as we have been led to believe. But then again, I could be wrong about everything. This just came in just as I was finishing up this video. Check this out. This tweet is from Scott Trowbridge. He's a Disney Imagineer. He built Galaxy's Edge. At work, #Imagineering, #Disneyland never done. And he's looking at the motorboat cruise area and the monorail track. Tomorrowland, the area that is the most talked about section of Tomorrowland and Autopia that something needs to be done about. I don't know if this has anything to do with the People Mover. The People Mover track doesn't go out in this direction, but it does have something to do with Tomorrowland. I don't know, man. This is all up in the air. Stay tuned. D23, man. Why do they mess with us? Why do they mess with us? Why do they tease us like this? There's only one way to take this tweet. There's only one way to take it. That they're working on something specific. They don't do anything by accident. This is not an accident. They're thinking about, at minimum, they're thinking about Tomorrowland. They're thinking about the monorail. They're thinking about the motorboat cruise area. That's Gummy Glenn for you guys from the 90s. Follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. If you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.